Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about the SJCAM M20 action camera. This was supplied to me by GearBest. They reached out and decided to work with me on a project that I hopefully will complete soon. I'm having some design troubles, so that should be forthcoming. But anyway, I wanted to tell you a little bit about this little camera. First things first, everybody's seen some of the faux pros, the GoPro knockoffs. This is definitely one of the better ones that I've read reviews on. So I was interested because of its price and the form factor. Now this has a screen on the back. That's not really a feature you get with the GoPros. It's also got the same plastic style case. The screen on the back makes this really great. You can set up the shots without having to tether it wirelessly. The wireless on the GoPros really kills the battery. This does have an app. I haven't used the app. I haven't needed to with the screen built in. But so far battery life has been solid. Image quality has been pretty solid on video. And other than muffling the audio, there's no cutout back door for these. The GoPros come with a cutout back door if you're going to be using it not in the water and you want to record audio. The audio is much better with the cutout. Obviously this is muffled. It's rugged. I've dropped it on the concrete so many times at this point, it's a little ridiculous. I've also taken it in the ocean. We went to the beach twice this year, so it's been in the ocean for hours and hours, no problems. The only thing that does annoy me a little bit is I'm getting some rust on the metal hinge pin, but that's exterior, not really a big deal. I did not have that problem with the GoPro, so it might be a metal quality issue, but I did not use these side by side. I don't have the GoPro anymore, so buyer beware. Another thing that's a little bit different than this in the GoPro, and it's actually in the SJCAM's favor, the GoPro I used would heat up and cut off, and it also gave me a bunch of SD card errors from the heat. I've had no such problems with this guy. Again, it's been out at the beach, in the ocean. It's been in the sunlight for extended periods of time, and I've not had a heat issue with this. The price point on this, to get a comparable GoPro, you're going to spend a good bit more. Granted, it's going to be a GoPro. Maybe that's the way you want to go. But really, feature-wise, if you were to go side by side, this is not going to be the high-end GoPro. This shoots up to 2K. Some of the documentation you'll find online will claim 4K. It does not shoot that high. 2K is great if you want to be able to scale down and focus in on part of the scene you shot and still maintain full HD. I don't really have a need for that right now. Hopefully in the future I'll be editing at that level. But it's a nice feature to know about. One of the other things that's lacking, it does not shoot very well in low light. There's no night lapse on this. That's actually a fairly new feature for the GoPros. They've had it a couple years now, but that was something I really enjoyed about the GoPro that I can't do with this. But again, for the price point, that's several $100s more in the GoPro line, so not a big deal. Time lapse on this also doesn't go to as short a duration. I believe it's 2 shots per second on the GoPro. I think this is every 2 seconds is the shortest duration for time lapse. It does shoot time lapse either in pictures or in video. That's great for some people depending on how you edit. If you want control over the individual frames, that option's here. If you just want a video file that you're able to edit immediately, that's on here as well. One thing to note, you cannot edit these straight out of camera with GoPro Studio. The file format that this outputs, from what I researched online, has an unsupported audio codec. Now the audio is fine, you can listen to it. In fact, Windows 8 and Windows 10 both play this natively with no additional drivers or any codecs or anything downloaded. What I've been doing to edit this in GoPro Studio or drag it into HitFilm is converting it with Handbrake. If I remember correctly, I'm going MP4 to MP4, but it's correcting the codec issue. So just know about that. That might be enough of an annoyance if you edit enough that you might make a decision against this. Not a big deal for me. The audio's been great, and honestly, converting a couple clips is not all that bad. Now, GearBest did send me some other stuff that I've been playing with. Some of the shots you'll see in this video use a time-lapse head. That's been really important for me because with the time lapses it adds a little something else so you're not staring at the same static image. During using that, I lost the 1/4 20 thread. It's made to come out and reverse the motion. You can put it in the top or the bottom. Because it comes out, it fell out while I was using it, moving it from one side to another. So I'll have to correct that. That's something to note. When I do recreate that thread, I will probably also cut a slot in it to use a screwdriver. That way I can make sure it goes in all the way and then I can still get it back out. They were also kind enough to send me a Tabletop Dolly. You can see these on B&H Photo at Amazon. They go all the way up to $40 for basically the same thing. There's not a whole lot to it. It's all sheet metal and rollerblade wheels. I'm still practicing with it. I'm not getting the motion very smooth, but definitely something to check out. I do think some of the accessories on this are pretty weak. They're not things that I would choose, but you do get a good solid pile of them included. I've also not checked to see if these fit GoPro accessories. If they do, that would be really great, but they're also super cheap if you were to buy them in a bundle if there was anything you really needed. I have not tried the suction pads, the sticky pads, so hopefully those work pretty well, and for the price, if it fell off the car, it ran across the road, it's probably not a huge deal. But if you guys have any questions about any of the products or features I've talked about, please leave a comment below. I am very impressed with this guy. It's also really nice to have something that powerful that you're not afraid of destroying. I shoot a lot with my phones. This is actually on a Canon 60D, so I definitely don't want either of those up against my cutting tools, too close to the lathe. I don't want to be shooting sparks near them. But with a $150 camera rig, it's nowhere near as big a deal. I mean, I definitely don't want to chop it in half or anything. But definitely something to consider, especially you guys that are into the woodworking video scene. Definitely look at the SJCAM M20. That's all I've got today. Thanks, guys.